Hi there to all aspiring professionals. I'm Manik from Gethired. As always, just guiding you towards realizing all your career aspirations. Today we're going to look at 7 reasons as to why you didn't get the job. Now, you work hard towards finding the right job. It is advertised, and you rehearse in front of the mirror. Go on internet, try to figure out what the best answers are. Speak to employees, do your own research, manage your body language, turn up on the big day. Face the interview, you think you did good, sometimes you might have, but you still don't get the call. So there can be so many reasons because all the complexities that are going inside the mind of the interviewer, no one can tell, right? It's beyond our controls. It's what I call interview biases. It's because we are just humans. It's not just the JD match. There are so many other things that influence the final decision. So these are called subjective biases, the unexplained phenomena. Now let's look at the 7 reasons. Number 1 reason would be very simple, straightforward, as there was a better match. It's always the case. Sometimes it can happen. It's just not a case of like you might have, but it's important. That's why you just fine tune your resume to make sure that you are really aligned with the job requirements and the job expectations. But even if you match, there can be someone else who has a little bit additional experience in some aspect. Number 2 reason is probably the wider repertoire. Now it may not be related to the exact job description, but there can be other elements like even related qualifications or related another industry experience which is not specified in the job description, but interviewers during the interview they change the criteria, which means they don't stick to the JD. Especially this part of the world, it is limited in overseas markets, but you find that the more the merrier concept. So you might match the job description exactly what it was advertised for, but there can be another candidate who has a little bit more additional experience which is not specified in the job, additional qualification. Maybe a marketer might have CMA qualification. They might see that has a potential, it brings more to the table. So they change the criteria as you go on. So it has happened. So it happens. So be aware of that, and you can't do anything about it. Just unfortunate situation. Number three reason is basically you must have make the interviewer angry, or they have not really connected with him. So although you have some great capacities, you have matched the job role. As I said earlier, there's what I call interview biases. Something matter you're not got connected. Maybe your school, maybe had inferiority complexes, or maybe insecurities, or maybe you had a foreign degree, you had a local degree, so there can be some discrepancies, or maybe where you came from. It can happen because we are just emotional creatures. So this subjectivity and sensitivity plays a major role. So that's why they say that almost 18% of candidates prior to going to an interview, they really do a proper profile of the interviewer, so that they have those emotional triggers to connect during the interview, so that you are in sync and you are tuning into the frequency in his mindset. So very important that you do an interview profiling to reduce the biasness. So that can be a reason. Another reason would be a culture fit. Now this is something I have experience having worked globally. Sometimes we work globally in multinationals, and in a different form, different pace, different exposure, and you try and come back and Sri Lanka, try to work in another organization which is mid-tier or state organization. They box you in. It's called pigeonholing. Perception are already been, they have reached perceptions without really having interaction. So you pigeonhole and you box in that, this person had this experience, so his mentalities and thing is not going to fit into our culture, right? So it's very sad. So that's why inexperienced interviewers have that, but the open interviews, professional interviews will look at the opportunity that you would get with global experience, and they will see how we can really fit into a culture. But that happens. And number 5 reason is basically inability to articulate answers. Now you might have all the skills, experience, relevance, but more often than not you have to sell it. Interview is a negotiation. Please visit my site, Gethired. There are more clips on specifically addressing these issues, how to connect with them and sell yourself. So you need to articulate your questions, all forms of questions, behavioral competencies, situational questions. You need to make sure you connect with your answers. So sometimes if you don't sell your proposition, if you don't sell your product, which is you, then you're not going to get the job. So articulating, practicing is very important. Looking at these video content and clips, try to refine your skills. So, and of course, number 6 is basically pre-selected candidates. Sometimes you feel through the body language of the interview that the position has already been pre-filled. So you can't do anything about it. It's just bad circumstances. So what you need to do is basically you still perform well, so that in the future, if the opportunity arises, that if you get called up and if that particular person doesn't get is not interested in the position, you might get called up and you'll get the opportunity. So that's just unfortunate, but pre-fill, you just act as a number. Sometimes the companies still have to go through the minimum number of interviews just before they fill a particular position. That's just policies, or you become a scapegoat. It just 15 to 20% time it happens. So through external referrals or a strong influence, the position has been pre-filled. Last but not least is basically the enthusiasm. You need to show a lot of enthusiasm. Energy need to be shown, committed, excited. So if everything is there, but if it's not energetic, committed, your body language, it can really work backwards. So these are the 7 reasons as to why you probably would have not got the job. So if you like this video, please subscribe to my channel, Gethired. Please feel free to share this video with your friends. And thanks for watching. Take care, sir.